The natural world is full of reminders of how inferior we are as a species. Not only do we lack superpowers like night vision, flight, or any meaningful level of strength, we also fail miserably at the most basic of tasks, like feeding ourselves, raising our young, and disposing of waste. Most of us can't even house ourselves. And those who build for us are incapable of doing so cleanly. So hang your economy enslaved, ecocide enabling head in shame as we run through 10 of the most stunning feats of architectural engineering from elsewhere in the animal kingdom. Number 10. Bagworm Log Cabins. Unlike most butterflies and moths, which spin their cocoons out of silk, bagworm moth larvae make use of the resources around them, plant matter, mostly. There are bagworm species all over the world, and many more styles of bag, the cocoon for which they are named. Some are more interesting than others, like the feathery nests made of stork's bill seeds. But for the most part, they all hang like bags. More interesting are the miniature log or twig cabins that gracefully spiral to a tip. A study of 42 such structures in India, built by the bagworm Clania Kramery, showed the design was anything but random. Number 9. Ctis Fly Submarines. Caddis flies, or sedge flies, are widely distributed around the world. They look like moths with hairy wings, but as larvae they live underwater. It's at this stage of life that caddis flies are at their most artful, spinning together their submarine cases with silk from the glands around their mouths, along with sand, stones, and plant matter. Depending on the species, these homes may be stationary or mobile. Styles are so characteristic of the species that builds them that while adult caddisflies are hard to tell apart, larvae can be identified by their cases. Some are smooth, some are lumpy, and so on. Number 8. Ovenbird Adobe Abodes. Native to North America, the ovenbird gets its name from the resemblance of its adobe mud nest to a Dutch oven, at least if you squint really hard. Construction takes roughly 2 weeks, building the walls out from a bowl shape, up, then back in at the top while carefully avoiding collapse. By the end, the ovenbird will have worked 2,000 pellets, 10 pounds of mud, into the sphere of its home. They also use plant matter and dung for the structure and line it with grass for comfort. Number 7. Bowerbird Theme Parks. Native to Australia and New Guinea, bowerbirds have the surprising distinction of being second only to humans in the adornment of their structures. In fact, their bowers, walls of sticks bent inwards to form arched shelters with cleared ground in front, have even drawn comparisons to Disney World. Just as the upper bricks of Sleeping Beauty's castle and the buildings of Main Street are smaller than at ground level to make everything look taller, male bowerbirds use forced perspective to make their bowers look smaller, and themselves bigger, according to one theory, to prospective female mates in the air. The similarity to Disney World doesn't end there. To attract mates, bowerbirds also fill their yards with plastic tat and mass-produced garbage. Marbles, ring pulls, duct tape, bra straps, ribbons, pegs, glass, wrappers, and even syringes, always with the largest items toward the back. Number 6. Sociable Weaver Apartments. Few birds are so descriptively named as the sociable weaver. These sparrow-sized birds, native to the Kalahari, weave sprawling communal nests, like avian apartment complexes, for 100 or so families to live in. Each block resembles a haystack in the tree and follows a typical blueprint. Large twigs are used for the roof, while grasses are woven into the 4 to 6 inch chambers, or apartments, which are then lined with soft furnishings like fluff, cotton, and fur. Entrance tunnels can be as long as 10 inches and lined with spikes of straw to keep predators at bay. Further protection from tree snakes and honey badgers comes from the choice of tree. Smooth, tall trunks or even telephone poles are best. Number 5. Agglutinated foraminifera tests. If you've heard of agglutinated foraminifera before, give yourself a pat on the back. These single-celled microorganisms live more than 6 miles, 10 kilometers, under the sea. Specifically, they inhabit the Mariana Trench, on what's known as the Challenger Deep, which, though it sounds like the name of a submarine, is the deepest surveyed part of the seabed. In fact, it lies in the Hadal Zone, named for the Greek underworld, far beyond the previously thought deepest part of the ocean, the abyssal zone. You get the point. It's a deeply inhospitable environment. And there's not a whole lot to build with. Number 4. Prairie dog gigacities. Prairie dogs are squirrels that live on the ground. Instead of burying nuts, they bury themselves. Black-tailed prairie dogs in particular live in sprawling burrows that humans call towns because of their town-like organization and population, many hundreds or more. They also tend to expand into cities, megacities, tens of millions of residents, and even gigacities, hundreds of millions. Number 3. Termite mega skyscrapers. In Australia's Northwest Territory, much of the dry plain landscape is dominated by the mounds of two termites. One is the compass termite, whose nests can reach heights of more than 10 feet and are built narrower along the north-south axis to avoid too much exposure to the sun. The other is the cathedral termite, whose nests tower above the ground and any passing mammals, at heights of 15 feet or more. These are the biggest skyscrapers in the world. By far. Number 2. Ant empires. Sadly, the only way for humans to view the beauty of an ant's nest is to fill it with plaster, hot wax, or molten metal, killing every last one of its occupants. The resulting cast, though it'll cost you your soul, can be excavated and studied in detail. In this way, scientists have found a remarkable degree of planning and consistency in ant nest construction, which is all the more remarkable given they build in the dark without a leader or plan, and ants working on one side have no means of communicating with ants on the other. No means obvious to us relatively unevolved apes, that is. Number 1. Bee 3D printing. Honeybees are more efficient than we could ever be. Like termites and ants, every bee in the hive has a purpose. But it's for their building work, not their social organization, that they get a place on this list, although the two are related. Darwin thought it the most wonderful of all known instincts, the way bees build their honeycombs with wax from their abdomens. Each consists of geometrically flawless hexagonal cells that fit perfectly into the grid, even while they vary in size to suit either drones or workers. What makes this even more remarkable is that honeycomb is built from different directions simultaneously. Bees starting from different sides of the grid in progress somehow join up with mathematical precision.